There are some people that they've lost the love for it.
Yeah.
And it's actually making them ill.
They don't want to get rid of it because of pride or that they've failed or something like that, isn't it?
Lots of people that are outside our sector think our businesses are very saleable until they come to try and sell one. But why isn't it saleable? Because it's people. You can't sell people.
If someone says, I want £200,000 for my hair salon, you haven't got £200,000 worth of assets. So technically, your business is only worth 20 grand.
Anyone that's ever tried to sell a used backwash or a used chair will know that actually they're worth all.
Anyone that thinks that they can sell their business for quite a lot of money when they're not profitable is in a dreamland. You need to stop with the pride and the ego. Your business is worth all.
And I don't think it's ever too soon to start thinking about your exit plan. Because it does creep up on you. Don't look for a knight in shining armour to come up or some wealthy client, because those days are over.
Hey Helen, I'm heading to the salon. I desperately need a blowout.
We have lots to talk about. Meet you there in 5.
This is the Blowout podcast. The salon industry is not in good shape.
Sure isn't. Hello and welcome to the Blowout podcast with Hellen Ward and Haylee Benton. And today we are talking about all things exit. Not an Irish exit.
No.
Do you know what an Irish exit is?
No, I don't know. I'm from New
That's
Zealand.
That's no excuse. It's when you leave a party or something without telling on where you're going.
Oh, you can't do that.
That's an Irish exit. But we can't do that in our businesses.
No, you kind of have to tell people if you want to go.
You really do. So, right, there's a lot to cover here because lots of people that are outside our sector think our businesses are very saleable.
Yep.
Until they come to try and sell one. So we need to talk about why they're not saleable, what makes them saleable. And as someone who's bought and sold loads of businesses successfully in the sector, like what are the pitfalls? What do you look for? What's the red flags?
Yeah, I mean,
How do you sell a business?
Jesus. Well, I mean, I suppose I can talk a lot about what I look for when I'm buying one, but it's data and information, firstly. Like the amount of people that have put, I don't know, an advert out that they're selling their business, and you're like, okay, so can you send me your last 12 months accounts, like your management accounts, profit and loss every single month? And they're like, oh, we don't do them. You know, we do them a year after the
my accountant does them.
My accountant does them.
End.
Like, well, that's not a good start because you should know your numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's just so much to think about. But I think, like we've talked about so many times, hair salons and beauty salons, maybe not beauty salons so much, but hair salons in particular, there's not many assets. You know, so if someone says, I want £200,000 for my hair salon, you haven't got £200,000 worth of assets in your business. You probably got 15 grand's worth of stock, maybe, and chairs and things, but maybe 20 grand. So technically, your business is only worth 20 grand. You've got some goodwill.
And anyone that's ever tried to sell a used backwash or a used section or chair will know that actually they're worth fuck all.
Fuck all. Literally, I've just tried to sell a backwash. I couldn't even get 50 quid for it. It's so bad. So yeah, I think there's so much to talk about on the subject, and I wonder whether it's quite a subject that most people will resonate with at the moment because it is so tough in business, particularly salons. Have you seen that a lot? That people?
Yeah, I have, and I've seen a lot of people say, some people message me and say, do you know anyone that wants to buy my business? They probably think I'm going to put them in touch with you. But, you know, the fact is, at a dinner party, for instance, if you're sitting next to anyone who's in business and you tell them what you do, and you tell them you've got a salon that turns over X or Y, and, you know, you've got a good business, and they go, well, sell it then. Why don't you sell it then if you want to retire? Or, you know, and you go, oh, because it's not saleable. Well, why isn't it saleable? Because it's people, and you can't sell people.
No.
You know, you can sell some old backwashes and a lease, but you can't sell people. And I don't think people really understand that there are lots of service industries out there, like hospitality is a service industry, but it's not so people related as us. We are selling our goodwill is our staff and our team. And you can't, with the best will in the world, have a transaction with someone that goes, right, I'm only going to pay you that if they all stay.
Because you can't
Unless
guarantee
you
it.
stage it. I mean, how have you done? Have you done it right? Well, if X many people stay after year 1, you get this. If X many people stay after year 2, have you done things like that?
I've tried. Tried to put that in clauses when I'm negotiating to buy the business, but they say I can't guarantee that. So it's kind of like, so all we end up doing is reducing the offer price because they can't guarantee that. So it's a really difficult one because in some respects, once the business is transferred to me, it's my job to keep them.
Right.
So there's like a responsibility shift. I think that the seller it's their responsibility up to selling day, the actual transfer day. They have to keep them, and then it kind of you can't guarantee it. You just don't know what these people are going to do.
Because if you're 2P'ing them across,
yeah.
which is the transfer of undertakings of protection of employment, if I remember
very
right.
good.
Oh, see, you don't need AI for everything. If you're 2P'ing them, you could make them redundant still.
Yeah.
When you take them over.
You could, but then it depends how long they've been employed for. You might have to pay out 10 years worth of pay, redundancy pay. And it is tricky because you don't know what you're getting. Like I've bought businesses and they've had staff that have been there for like 15 years and this person is a fucking nightmare. And you're like, oh shit, like I'm stuck with this person.
Yeah.
Unless I make them redundant. And then you can't just make them redundant, you have to go through a whole process. So my theory is make their life as difficult as possible so they want to leave.
This is how we do this. I'll never stop. I'll never stop. I'll take my time. Stop. I'll never stop. Stop. I'll never stop.
You had it. Well, it's true. Because every salon, even if it's really successful, will have one person that is,
not happy,
not quite the team player who, is the fly in the ointment. I don't know. I mean, so over the years, someone tried to buy our business back in the day. It was like the late 90s. We weren't ready to sell it. But also, I couldn't really see how I could make it work. And I wasn't ready to give up the brand that we'd only just really created. And they wanted to co-brand and they had different ideas. And the guy, interestingly, that was leading it all was working with these salon owners, but he wasn't we're still in touch now, it's all fine, but he was from outside the sector.
Right.
And he was one of the dads that one of the owners had met on the football pitch. He was like, you should be growing your business to do this. Like many people that come into this sector, all guns blazing, cookie cutter that business, just put another one, create another Richard Ward in Guildford and let's do one in Bath and let's do one here, until they try and do it and they realise, actually, it's quite a complex business because it's people.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cookie cutter. You can't cookie cutter people.
You can't just replicate it. Like you're not buying another machine. It doesn't work, that works exactly the same way.
Yeah. It's
very, very difficult. I mean, don't get me wrong. I probably wouldn't have it any other way. I like that. I like the chase of it and I like the negotiations and I like doing, I like, like we just had a really interesting interview, didn't we, with Anne. What I think I like the most is that if someone's been in a business for a long time and they've had long-standing staff members, it's giving those people a new opportunity where it's a safe environment. They don't even have to leave their job. They lots of them say to me, like, I feel like I've got a new job, even though they're in the same job, and it's giving them a bit of a refresh, like a restart, and that, we might give them different opportunities than they would have got if they stayed with the same owner.
It doesn't always work out though, does it?
No.
Because, for instance, we had, there was a salon called Smile on the King's Road, And it was in the 60s, like there, when it was all Carnaby Street and Kings Road and swinging London. They were part of all of that. And they tried to get us to buy them. Again, a client had got involved and this businessman had got involved. And, we'll go to Richard Ward and they'll buy us. And it's like, no, we're not going to buy you. But we will give the staff a job. Mm-hmm. And we offered the staff the job. And out of like 10 of them that came, which was a nice injection of turnover.
Of course.
But the two owners wanted to stay on, and actually they were the ones, they're both not around anymore, but they were the ones that we least wanted to stay on.
But you had to take them on.
We want them there. We wanted the young team, the team that were all like... But interestingly, they're now no longer with us, but in real terms, no longer with us. But only 2 of those people remained. And for so many years, it was like, the smile lot, the smile lot. And it was just like mixing oil and water.
Yeah.
They didn't really gel.
You're merging 2 teams into one. That is asking for trouble.
It's very difficult to integrate it. And I just think you're lucky. I mean, I've got Delta and Denise, and they are amazing from the Smile team. And... really but now I don't even look at them and think that they were never not part of our team, but that's taken a long time for us and them.
Gosh, it does sound like a long time.
Yeah,
that was the back end
of 10 years ago.
Yeah, jeez. So I mean,
and we thought we were buying, we didn't buy anything, but we thought we were getting the turnover and giving the staff a home. And I did buy a bit of stock and everything, and it turned out the stock I bought was all out of date and
typical. I know, it's one of those ones, isn't it? But I think as well, if people are wanting to sell their salon, they've got to keep the energy up as well. I've seen so many times where they sort of pause everything that they're doing, like they're not buying stock, they're not investing in their staff, they stop the training programs, and all you're doing is actually devaluing your salon.
And also, don't the staff get wind of it?
They must just get a feeling, or I don't know. Staff think weird stuff, right? Like I just had to put a story straight the other day. So I'm doing a couple of refurbs at the moment to try and save money. So we've got 3 buildings in one town and we're condensing it to 2 buildings, which is costing a lot of money to do the refurbishment. But then somehow there's a rumour that's gone around all the staff that I'm selling the businesses and moving back to New Zealand. And I'm like, why the fuck would I spend that much money on refurbishing, trying to keep everybody in a job? Like, they just come up with random stories. So I do think, I'm just using that as an example, is you do have to be clear with your staff about, if you are wanting to be transparent, you have to be really like straight down the line. What are we actually saying here? Because they will just turn it against you.
Yeah,
they could then start telling people that, she's selling the business, or we're going bust, or something like that. So
and don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Yeah, because it could ruin your value of your business, because there's the talk of the town. You can't let that happen.
No, but we've shared a lot, obviously, over the years, and you knew that I was in a very difficult situation last July when we were like, right, what do we do here? Rich and I are no longer partners in that sense, but we're still business partners. What do we do? Do we sign another lease when we're just nudging 60? What do we do here? And we couldn't really find a way to make it move forward. We didn't really want to just be in business together for another 10 years. Well, we could have been, but if you're moving on with in life, then that wouldn't have sort of felt right. So we needed to find a way to... I did actually think, am I ready to retire? And because, I'm spending so much time in Ibiza now, and I've just got my residence visa granted again. Woo. But, my son said to me, Mummy, what are you going to do? You're going to go and sit in Ibiza on a yoga mat. What are you going to do then 6 weeks later?
You'll be bored.
I would be bored. My dad had this friend who was in business, and he said, I need to get back because I need the aggro. I need a bit of aggro.
Yeah, I
don't know if I get aggro, but I do get that,
the challenge.
The challenge, and also for me, it's just we've all worked together for so long. I love going to work. I love the laugh we have, and I love the banter, and I love keeping it fresh, and it's challenging. It's really difficult, but it's also rewarding. and enriching and all those lovely things too. So I wasn't ready to sell it. And then we thought about selling it, and then who's going to buy it? The staff can't afford to buy it.
Yeah.
I
What
mean,
do
if
you
they
do?
club together to buy it, but even so, it's a lot of money, you know. And so what do we do? And then we thought, well, what if the children want to go into it? Because a lot of hairdressing businesses and beauty businesses are family businesses, aren't they? So there's always that, like, well, maybe the next generation are going to take it over. Was there any one person that was there? Because back in the day, it would always be, there's someone that's going to leave, open their own salon, so maybe they're the person you should sell it to. But then how are they going to buy it? You know, it's so challenging to start a business now and be an entrepreneur. I mean, it's don't get me on the government, but they've made it almost like impossible to even consider that.
So what made you continue on in July then? Like what happened?
So we were at this just absolute sliding doors moment. I could see my life. It could go that way or it could go that way. And we had a real honest heart-to-heart. And Richard said, we can't afford financially to give it up yet. And he was right. He's always spot on about money. And so we said, OK, so how can we make it work? Now then, the universe, I think, sends you different things at different times in your life. So I'm sitting on a plane going to Ibiza a couple of years ago, going out to see Duran, playing Ibiza, and got talking to this lovely woman who borrowed my charger. Basically, we became very good friends. She lives over on the island as well, but lives also in Kew. So had her own business, and we met for lunch a couple of months afterwards, and she said she's in the events industry. So she'd started up this business, and she said, and like us, was the matriarch, and could they do it without her? Probably not. Did she want to be doing it the whole time? Probably not. So, like, what was the route out? I said, "'Tis your number two. Could he afford to buy it off you?" Not really, no. So, exactly to the same point as I was at. And she said, "Have you heard of this thing called an EOT? It's the Employer Ownership Trust. And I said, no. She said, it's perfect for our businesses. I've just done one on mine. It you can stay on, have your salary, stay in the same role, but it benefits the employees and it locks them in and it gives you an out, but you're almost selling it to this trust and you're taking your money out. And before Rachel Reeves got hold of it and fucked it up, you got 100% of your value of your business out tax-free.
Wow.
Now you only get 50%.
That's quite a cut.
That happened overnight, by the way, and all the people, the guy that set up our EOT for us, that's all he does. And I'll come on to that in a minute because you do need a decent accountant to sort it out for you. But he basically was in the middle of an EOT for a massive business, and it had gone from having zero tax bill overnight to the tax bill being 1.5 million.
Wow.
Literally overnight. Not next April we're going to do this, or at the end of the month we're going to do this, but overnight. So we explored this EOT thing, and what happens is you have to sell a minimum of 51% of your business to a trust, and there has to be a quorum of directors. So if me and Richard wanted to stay on, there'd had to be another 3, so there was 5 of us. So between the 5 of us, we were the directors of this new EOT trust company. Your accountant, the guy we used, submitted it to HMRC. They gave it the thumbs up, dependent on being audited, and it's valued on the EBITDA. So you need an independent auditor to satisfy HMRC that it's not the same accountant that's auditing it. And then they value it, and they agree the value, and then you stay on as a director. I'm now a director of the EOT company. We've kept 20% each of the business, and everything carries on as normal, and we get paid out, and after we get paid out, the staff become beneficiaries of the company, so profits and dividends.
Brilliant. And so do you think that has helped sort of cement your staff members to want to stay on longer and things like that?
Well, yeah, because before I did it, and this is what I would advise anyone that's thinking of doing this, I sat them all down for a cup of coffee and said, right, if we renew this lease, because we had to get everything to dovetail, signing the new lease, the EOT, the structure, in the middle of trying to get divorced as well. Yeah. If we sign this new lease, I was very upfront with them, saying, you know, these are our options. We either give the keys back, or we all do a new lease. Are you going to give it another 10 years? Because don't forget, a lot of mine have got like 20 plus years length of service.
Yeah.
And they all said, absolutely right. Yes, we will.
Brilliant.
And we said, right, we're going to set this thing up. You'll be beneficiaries of it. And the benefit for the staff is they get a tax-free allowance every year. So any earnings they get from it, they get tax-free.
And so have you done your first year with it yet? Oh,
we
brilliant.
have.
So you had to pay out dividends
Yes.
and things. Brilliant.
Yes. And they're not dividends, they're beneficiary payments. But yes, in our terms,
got it,
they're
got it.
dividends. But yes, and so they all got Christmas bonuses. And you can tier it so people that have been there longer or have more responsibility get
shares.
more.
Okay.
But every employee gets offered it after a year. And if they leave, they don't take anything with them. So if they leave, they leave.
I think that's a great way to tie people in for longevity as well, because like you say, in our industry, it's kind of, but then again, if you're thinking of selling your business, don't do that. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like someone's really got to think about what they want for their future, isn't it? You know?
Because you know what? It all sounds very sexy. And when we interviewed Anne earlier, and she was like, yeah, that was it. I was fucking off. That was it. Pina coladas on the beach. But actually, after a while, you do miss being with other people. And that's the thing that I didn't want to lose. I love my team, and I just, you know, they drive me insane. You drive me mad. But I love them. And I just wanted, I knew I would miss being with them.
But it's like there's so many options. I think if someone was feeling stuck right now, there's so many things that they could do. They could get a business partner, or they can, I don't know, get someone to run it for them and work in the background, or they don't have to just give it up. They can give up the parts that they don't want to do or that they're feeling burnt out. Like, I just think people think selling is the only option.
Yeah, and there are other things to explore. But also, you know, I think if you're a bit of a control freak, I had to stay on as MD. It wouldn't work any other way. I mean, it just wouldn't. So if you're a control freak, I think you shy away from exploring these options because you just think, oh, no one else will be able to do it right.
Well, or you stop moaning about it and say, okay, I'm going to run my business, and even though I'm burnt out, I'm going to put more effort into it, and I'm going to refresh things. I'm going to make sure my team feel looked after, and it's the energy. I think it's energy.
It's energy, and I think you're so right. I think the biggest mistake I see salon owners make is when they don't speculate to accumulate. You know, you need these days someone helping you with marketing. You need someone helping you with HR. If you try and do it all yourself and keep it all like this, you do burn out. And also, it's just, I don't want all that responsibility. Now, Gavin, Sam, Julie, me, Richard are the 5 directors of the EOT Trust. And I love the fact that they have now got a vested interest. They always were fantastic, but I noticed, and Steph said it when she did it on her business, there's a subtle change in the behaviour. It's like they go to the loo. She said she noticed it with like the loo rolls in the loo. You go to the loo, and because they want the business to succeed, you know, someone tops up the loo roll. It's just a different mentality, I think.
I love that. I mean, like you obviously speak to a lot of salon owners. Do you find people asking you a lot more about exiting businesses and getting out? Like, are they quite stressed at the moment?
I think they are, and I just think they know that their businesses are not saleable, and they know that their number 2 or their deputy probably hasn't got the money to buy them, and they think that's it, they're stuffed. But there is a third way. I mean, the EOT is brilliant for our sector. It's absolutely brilliant. I don't know why more people don't do it, which is partly why I'm talking about it. And by the way, to anyone that's trolled me, I'm not ashamed of my EOT. I'm very, very proud of what I've done.
Who's trolled you? Oh, fucking hell. I haven't read that comment. I've decided not to read
Not on our blowout troll.
Okay. I was going to say, I'm not reading any more comments.
No, people just, someone said, oh, you know, what's she doing, saying the sector's in hardship when look at her at Company's House. Never said I'm in hardship. No. The sector is in hardship. And business is challenging. The margins are fucked.
Correct.
I don't care what anyone says. So you can look back at Company's House historically, but that's not where we are now. Yeah. But anyway, it is a solution. And I just think you do have to be profitable, though.
You do, and I think that's probably where I wanted to talk more about is like if someone is struggling and they're like, shit, I just need to get out. My business isn't even profitable for an EOT, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm just scraping by. That's not an option for them.
It's not an option. No.
And so I think people have to be really realistic about how much is the business actually worth and how much is your sanity worth. You know, do you just want to get out and maybe leave with your head held high and pass it on to someone, and maybe you're not going to get your maybe you're not even going to get 50 grand, you might not get 100 grand, or can you get your 100 grand over 10 years by selling it on to someone else and you've negotiated shares or equity in it, but let someone else run it and you just sit in the background. There's so many options, but I think anyone that thinks that they can sell their business for quite a lot of money when they're not profitable is in a dreamland from a salon. And I see a lot of them. I see so many of them, Helen. It's so concerning. But what's more concerning is they go to these business brokers with their accounts, and then the business broker puts some random calculation on it, which doesn't make any sense. And there's all these factors that you have to hope that the stylists are going to stay with the company. Like the calculations that these business brokers are putting on it and giving the salon owners hope that they're going to get that much money. I'm like, you're never going to get that much money.
Because they don't understand the fundamentals, which is that the money is in the people. And someone leaves and they take the turnover with them, which is why recruitment and people leaving the sector in their droves and going to work freelance and self-employed and renting chairs has been so difficult for us as salon owners.
But there is ways you can get out. I just think people need to be a bit more open-minded about how to, and they can still stay in the industry. And this, you know, if you've had a salon for like 20 or 30 years, you've got so much to give and knowledge and training. You don't have to completely get out, but maybe get out of the responsibility and the things that are dragging you down.
Yeah, I mean, when I was looking at like, if I retire, what would I miss and what would I not miss? I certainly wouldn't miss HR.
No.
And how much litigation has fallen on us, and how much and how businesses are not allowed. You need a bit of, what's that Japanese thing? Is it Kaizen time?
Kaizen,
yeah. So in Japan they say, a good 30% of your business day has got to be spent creating opportunities, not just dealing with the shit of yesterday.
Love it.
And that's the bit that the more burden that gets put on you, the less time you have for that. And that's the bit I love. And that's why I love our chats, because I love hearing about all the things you're doing, because I'm like, oh my God, what's she doing now?
Oh, well.
But, because that's the exciting bit.
Yeah.
Contracts and HR and boring stuff like that is not what lights my fire. It never has been.
But lots of salon owners, I think that's where they struggle, isn't it? Because they're still on the floor or they're still in a beauty room.
Yeah.
And they are owning the salon and they just can't see the wood through the trees. And I think it's kind of like, what are you actually doing with the salon? What do you want it to be? Because it's not just about you. It's like, what are you doing for your people to keep them inspired and keep them, thinking that they're progressing and moving forward with their life?
Also, they don't know, sometimes it surprises you. The people that you think would be the really ambitious ones, but someone can come out of the woodwork and go, oh no, I've always wanted to, you don't know who's, if you don't have time for those conversations about the future and to say, right, what are you doing and where are you going and where do you see yourself? That's the conversations you need to make the time for.
Yeah. And just looking out for them. You might be a bit confused about what you're doing, but I think we were talking earlier, I don't know whether it's this conversation, but if they stop investing or reinvesting in the salon, the clients notice it, the staff notice it. Like, if your energy levels drop, you're probably going to lose clients and you're going to lose staff at some point. So it's just like, be really careful of that, like the mindset.
And it's hard when you're coming to the end of a lease and stuff, you don't want to, until you know what you're doing. And we started our negotiations to renew our lease 18 months before, 2 years before it was even coming to an end. And that's the worst thing of a 10-year lease. You've only got really a bit of comfort for like 5, 6, 7 years, and then you're in the renewal mindset. But until you've actually got that sorted and you know what you're going to do, you know, if things are falling apart, you try and keep on top of it. But you're not going to spend 200 grand refurbing something, are you?
No, definitely not.
And then the staff think there's no investment, and then they notice it. They notice things so quickly. I think, oh my God, my lot are just like a radar. If I'm not 100% on it and happy and yeah, come on, you know, they bloody notice it within 5 minutes.
Yeah, you're so right. I mean, it is a bit concerning how, I don't know, it's such a shame as well, because usually with businesses, you should be able to work and work and work and create something and then be able to easily sell it. You know, a lot of industries are easily saleable, like you say, but this is so tricky. It's the one sector. I cannot think of another. We've bought and sold our brush, you know, we created it and sold it. Because it's not a person. No, it's a thing.
It's a thing. So of course you can sell it. So I think when you talk about these advisors coming in and valuing it, they have no understanding of that. That what they're selling is an intangible.
They're just looking at the numbers and not knowing that each one of those staff members, they are a person who has relationships with someone else. And if that person leaves, you can knock all of that profit, all of that turnover off your bottom line.
And where are you going to replace it? Because, you know, it's so hard to recruit as well.
So if you were selling a business, would you tell your staff?
Yeah. I mean, if I was actually selling it and had a buyer lined up, I think if I'd got to the point of sort of exchange but not complete, I would.
Yeah.
I just think things often fall out of
What
bed,
happens
don't
if
they?
the buyer said, like for instance, what I would do is be like, no, I need to meet your staff first. What would you say?
Because you did that, didn't
Yeah,
you?
I've done it a couple of times, and someone will either say yes or no. But you need to know what you're buying. You need to be able to see them and see. I don't know. I just feel like I can tell with people.
Well, right, okay, so story to share. Someone I know really well, their landlord was dicking them about on their lease, right? And told this person, we're not renewing the lease, that's it. You can buck off out of here. So this person told their team, and then, like, the landlord changed his mind and gone, actually, like a week later. And in the meantime, so much damage could have been done where people would start feeling insecure, start looking for other jobs. You know, no one hangs around. No one can afford to hang around, nor should they, if they haven't got job security.
Of course.
And just like, oh my God, you don't understand. And it's not an ice cream shop where if somebody leaves, somebody else just comes. This is relationship based. Mm-hmm. And if that person with their turnover walks out the door, you're not going to get that back. And so much damage could have been done just from a landlord dicking around about a lease.
And that is the thing as well when you're selling the business is so many. One of the biggest sticking points when I'm buying a business is the lease.
Yeah.
Because one, it should be in a limited company. I've had situations whereby they've put it in some other limited company or it's in the person's personal name and you're like, what the fuck? Well, you can't just transfer it. The lease has to be in the business name. So that can really delay.
Otherwise, it's not a business asset.
Yeah, it can really delay things. But then also that landlord has to also be happy that you're taking it over. So there's just so many you can't just sell it to some cowboy.
How does it work if the salon owner is the landlord and is subletting it to the limited company? Because a lot of salon owners do that.
So the
I know
salon
a lot
owner
of people
owns the
that have got
building.
the freehold and they let it to their companies.
Yeah, yeah. That can easily be done because again, it's just a.
But if you're buying that company,
Yeah.
you're not going to buy that company and keep them on as the land. I mean, happy days if you're the salon owner that's managed to get your freehold and managed to sell your business but keep the freehold.
I think they have it under two separate companies, don't they? Who owns the business and then the salon is the tenant.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, that would be a whole. I've never dealt with that before, but that'd be a whole other complexity of renting off the seller.
Yes, exactly. Because I know salon owners who have had to put the rent up to themselves to cover their costs, but they're actually the landlord.
Oh my God, hilarious.
Oh, it's so
It
complicated.
is a bit of a minefield. I mean, I think, yeah, just some people are just, as I say, in a dreamland, or they're just not making money and they think they can get all this money for their salon. I'm like, you don't have anything. Your business is worth fuck all. Like, if you want to get out of it because you're burdened, then you need to stop with the pride and the ego and just pass it on to someone who might be able to do something with it. Like, you know, I don't know, if you've got debt, maybe HMRC debt, maybe the negotiation is just take my salon for free, but you just pay HMRC debt and I get off as a director. And then you're like, I'm out of there. Don't know.
There's many ways to skin this cat.
It is.
And I think people have got to get creative with it, haven't they?
Yeah.
Because there's no guarantee that, you know, if you're the salon owner, like even if you, I mean, would I want my children to go into our sector? My son, absolutely not interested, is in wealth management in the city. My daughter does fragrance, luxe, perfume, makeup marketing, not interested. But we've kept that window open for them if there is, you know, if they do want to come into the business. And with the EOT, you can also sell 100%. You know, you just have to have a minimum of 51. But I do think there is, we sort of start these businesses off, and the exit feels a long way away when you start off,
They're
but
probably not even thinking of it.
catches up on you very, very quickly. And what you want out of life and what you want your work-life balance to be and all of the rest of it also changes. So it is a movable feast, and you've got to have some idea of what you're going to do, you know, because what if no one wants to take it over?
Yeah,
Then you're handing the keys back, and, you know, it's better to sell it to the team, let the team take it over. I mean, if I hadn't have done the EOT route and I really didn't want to work in the business anymore at all, I would have said to the team, you take it over. If your lease permits it, which mine actually wouldn't have done, but say it did, you take it over and just pay us like we're subletting it to you almost to cover our costs.
So, for instance, if a salon isn't profitable, you know, they're really struggling in the climate, what would you suggest that they do then?
I would say the first step is to have the conversation with your team. Don't look for a knight in shining armour to come up out of the blue or some wealthy client, because those days are over.
And also they'll fuck you around.
Back in the 90s, you know, you had everyone had a wealthy client who was like, oh, I'm bored and my husband said I can buy a business and because I like getting my hair done, I'll buy this. It's like if you watch those people that start a new life in, you know, I love all those programs. I started a new life in Spain or whatever, or France. And it's like, yeah, I like going to hotels, but that doesn't mean to say that I'm going to like running a gîte and getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and washing the bloody sheets. And, you know, because being a client of a salon is very different to owning a salon, as anyone who's sat in our position will know. So I just think having the convo with the team of like, I think salon owners are probably frightened to have the conversation in case they get the answer they don't want, which is, well, I want to set up on my own.
Or figure out a way to help facilitate it, whereby, I don't know, 4 of your salon members can give you 25 grand each, or so, you know what I mean? Like, you can get
when you go back
loans.
to like Tony and Guy and how they started off as the first people doing franchising in our sector, that was really what it was, wasn't it? Have a piece of this under our branding. We've got the name. You've got the ambition.
We'll help you set it up.
We'll help you set it up. Use benefit from all our discounts with suppliers, benefit from this, that and the other. And it was a way that a young person who was aspirational to have their own business could have it.
Yeah.
And often, the product companies would help finance the loans, and that's how it all came about. That's how, so many salon owners became franchisees.
I think if they don't act quickly, if they know their business isn't going well, the solution isn't to sell it. It might be to go down a completely different route. You need to get rid of it rather than trying to battle on when it's just got no hope. You know what I mean?
I think there are some people that, they've lost the love for it.
Yeah.
And it's actually making them ill.
But they don't want to get rid of it because of pride or that they've failed or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a lot of that. But I do think having the difficult conversation with the team, and that's what your performance review should be about. Where do you see yourself in, 5 years' time? That is the difficult conversation to have. But unless you have that convo, you won't find out whether they are ambitious or do want to do more. And some people don't, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And some people really do, and they want to be their own boss.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got to talk to the team, don't you? Because you could have someone sitting there that might be a little bit more junior, but they've got these big ambitions, and you might pass it on to them.
So I think, summing up, look at your lease.
Yeah.
Always try and get your freehold if you possibly can, because it just buys you a bit of security and gives you a tangible asset rather than an intangible asset, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, agreed.
Have the conversation with your team. Have in the back of your mind where you think you might end up.
Yeah. But also making sure that everything, if you do want to sell it, you have to package everything up like a nice gift, like all your ducks in a row. You've got to have an accountant. You've got to have a good solicitor. You've got to make sure that your lease is in the, like you say, the right name. You've got to know your numbers, like for they're going to want to see your last 3 to 5 years accounts, and not just your end of year accounts. They're going to want to see every single month your management accounts. And if you don't know those numbers or how much each of your team members are doing, they're going to want to know, is Barbara happy? Is Sally happy?
Yeah.
So your job is to make them happy, because if you're lying to them, they will find out, the seller needs
and the
to be
business
honest.
structure, as you said earlier, making sure that you're a limited company, because it's much easier.
Yeah, so much easier. It's a complete minefield, and I feel like we can keep touching on it in these episodes and things, but there really isn't a book on it. But I'd say just keep an open mind. If you really just had enough of the industry, then you need to have an open mind and not worry about your ego.
Yeah, and I don't think it's ever too soon to start thinking about your exit plan, because it does creep up on you.
That's the whole point in a business, right? You're meant to sell it.
Yeah, you're meant to enjoy it and then get, but there is also something to be said for keeping hold of it and the income it gives you and the job satisfaction it gives you. So, selling it is not for everyone. I just think it's something you must be thinking about it.
Yeah, completely
Whether
agree.
you're doing anything about it or not, it's got to be something. It shouldn't be a surprise to you that you're going to get to a stage where you're going to start really thinking about it. So it's worth thinking about it sooner rather than later.
Definitely. Well, I hope this has been helpful for everybody.
Yeah, and we'd like to thank our sponsors, Weller Professionals, again.
Thank you.
And any questions about anything we talked about today, or any comments, or what you're doing, or how you're feeling about your business.
Yeah, we're here to help.
Yeah, we try to.
Try to. We don't know everything.
We certainly
Definitely.
don't know everything.
Thank you for listening.
Like, share and follow.